But teammate Anthony Davidson's start line setback leaves him on a collision course with Adrian Sutil's Spiker. A momentary lapse of concentration leaves Christian Albers in the gravel and out of the race. Ambitious move from DC nearly ends in disaster. Sutil catches Button off guard, leaving the Spiker in the gravel. Robert Kubica collided with Heidfeld at the start and damaged his aerodynamics. And who knows what's going on with this pit stop? Button gets in a spin and stalls, while Sutil and Speed get in a tangle. Scott Speed has climbed from the back of the field, but he has been slowly losing tyre pressure. And now it's gone completely. The race leader is in. A few drops of fuel almost turn a straightforward pit stop into disaster. McLaren need to keep their cool. Massa's stop looked good, but the fuel rig was slow to come off, and there was a small leak. Nick Heidfeld is the last of the top runners to pit. It looks okay. Or does it? There was a hitch with the right front wheel nut. Surely that needs to be on the car? Heidfeld decides not and heads back out on track. But he will need to come straight back into the pit lane. He clipped the barrier with his right front wheel coming out of the swimming pool chicane and had to park up in a space some might say is reserved for Ferrari. He's out of the race on the run-up to Casino. Now the lollipop falls apart and the mechanic has to kick it out of the way.
Any particular advice for?
No advice. I think, you know, try to don't be too aggressive in the first corner and let me go through.
Scott Speed makes a move on Vert, but there isn't enough room for two cars and he is out of the race. But Sutil doesn't have a chance to make a pit stop. He runs wide at turn 8 and slams into the wall, bringing out the safety car. Alonso and Rosberg come in for their scheduled stops. The safety car has just been deployed. So is the pit lane actually open yet? All cars on track must form up in a line behind the safety car before the pit lane will be opened. Now the pit lane is open. Massa is in and teammate Raikkonen queues behind. Team advisor Michael Schumacher keeps a close eye on proceedings. But maybe not close enough. The red light is on and both Massa and Fisichella take to the track. Now it's clear to go, but Kubica's caught napping by Jarno Trulli. Oh, he's got off and Kubica hits the wall. It's a huge accident. Liuzzi was incredibly lucky not to be taken out by the debris. As soon as Robert was airborne, there was nothing he could do. His car is ripped to pieces and even his feet are clearly visible. The racing is back underway, and both Alonso and Rosberg have a 10-second stop-go penalty for pitting too early under the safety car. Super Aguri can't take their eyes off the action. So much so they haven't noticed that Davidson has pitted. A run-in with the local wildlife has damaged his front wing and taken the team unawares. A mistake ends a good chance of points for Albers. And there's no chance of points for Fisichella and Massa.
In now, please, Giancarlo. In now. You are black flagged, Fizzy. You are black flagged.
Game over. Liuzzi's not an F1 champion, but he joins many others in the wall of champions. Trulli exits the pit lane and needs to push to catch the rest of the field. Instead, he drives into the wall.
Have you had a look at, have you seen the accident on TV?
Well, yeah, I have seen it also live when I was there, but also Scott has good position to look at that. I saw some pictures.
Ralph locks up and slams into Coulthard and Barrichello, leaving plenty of cars off the track. Rosberg's one-stop strategy looks set to pay off. He was running 6th, but an oil leak ruins his chances with only a few laps remaining. Davidson and Liuzzi collide not once, but twice. Liuzzi is out on the spot while Davidson crawls back to the pits. At the back of the field, Davidson ran into Liuzzi, sending the Toro Rosso out of control. But not for long. Trulli slams into the Renault, sending Heikki into a spin. Until Albers switches his brain to neutral. He drives off before the lollipop was raised and while the fuel rig was still attached. No one is hurt, but the bizarre mistake won't win him any favours with the team. But speed has left a window of opportunity for Wirtz. Alex takes it and leaves Scott out of the race.
Are you okay?
He went off at turn 8 thanks to a blowout that speared him violently into the tyre wall. Raikkonen leads Massa and Alonso as the first spots of rainfall, while the BMWs send themselves right back and leave Hamilton with a puncture. Rosberg has a go at Barrichello, but they get a little bit too close for comfort. It's raining heavily now, while Rosberg and Sutil tangle. Race leader Raikkonen goes to pit. And slides out again. He'll have to complete another lap on dry tyres. The top guys are struggling as the conditions rapidly deteriorate. Jenson Button aquaplanes off the track. The rain is horrendous. Hamilton heads for the gravel.
Everybody is going off at turn 1. Massive caution at turn 1. Safety car will be coming out. Safety car will be coming out.
Rosberg is out. He's joined by Speed, but Hamilton has a plan.
Safety car now. Safety car, Nick. Safety car.
The safety car waits to pick up the field. But it's too late for the Toro Rosso of Liuzzi.
There's debris on the track on the way into turn 1 on the line.
Turn 1 is a swimming pool. Turn 1 is a swimming pool. Be really, really careful around there.
Hamilton has kept his engine running and gets a little outside help. Sato gets caught out, but manages to get going again. And so does Hamilton. His quick thinking ensures he lives to fight another day, albeit one lap down on the rest of the field. In mid-July, McLaren was asked by the FIA to answer a charge of being in possession of certain documents and confidential information belonging to Ferrari. It emerged that Ferrari's Nigel Stepney had passed confidential information regarding the F2007 to McLaren chief designer Mike Coughlin. On 26th July, there was an FIA hearing in Paris to investigate the allegations and allow both sides to present their case. McLaren maintained that no Ferrari information had been used at any stage to develop their car, and that the documents were only in the possession of Mike Coughlin, and that no other McLaren employee knew of this information before 3rd of July. The team was found guilty of possessing the documents, but not penalised for Mike Coughlin's actions.
The FIA has done a very thorough process. I think they've understood very well the situation. I'm not completely comfortable with the outcome, but the punishment fits the crime.
McLaren had asked Hamilton to let Alonso through in the final part of qualifying. However, he failed to let Fernando past, despite requests from the team and the obvious anger of his teammate. Alonso pitted for fresh tyres. With just over 2 minutes remaining, the team held him in position for 20 seconds to avoid traffic, by which time Hamilton had queued behind. The lollipop was raised, and Fernando remained where he was for a further 10 seconds. With 1 minute 38 seconds left of the session, he exited the pits, and Hamilton took on fresh tyres. Would he make it round in time? Alonso scraped through for another flying lap. But Hamilton just missed out by less than 3.5 seconds. Ron was furious and went straight to speak with Alonso's physiotherapist, Fabrizio Borra.
Take your helmet off. Come with me, we're going to have a
After much deliberation, Alonso was stripped of his pole position and relegated to 6th, and the team would score no constructors' points for this race. Ferrari had their own problems to deal with in qualifying. In Q2, Massa was informed he did not have enough fuel on board and had to be pushed back to the garage.
How do you forget to put fuel in the car? No one said anything about that. Well, I don't know. Well, it didn't allow you to get out on the track.
Yeah, but it was not by purpose.
We got everything.
We was a misunderstanding from.
Pretty fundamental misunderstanding. I think it's a conspiracy to favour Kimi.
But there's bad news for Spiker. New signing Yamamoto's impact with the tyre wall is greater than his impact on the race. Fisikalla's weekend was compromised by a 5-place grid penalty. Now he's debating 14th with Davidson. But a bit of wheel banging leaves Anthony in a spin and breaks his rear suspension. Alonso goes backwards while an out-of-control Fisikalla causes chaos at the back. After such a huge impact, it's not surprising that Kimi suffered pain in his neck. It's Coulthard in trouble. He hit the back of Fisichella's car and broke his front wing. Now he spears straight into the gravel. Following the receipt of new evidence relating to the Ferrari-McLaren spying scandal early in September, the World Motorsport Council convened for a hearing in Paris on the Thursday of the Belgian Grand Prix.
Any comment to make on what's happening in Paris today?
No.
Deliberations continued throughout the day, and eventually an agreement was reached. McLaren and Mercedes are stripped of all constructor points for the 2007 World Championship, and the team will score no points for the remainder of the season. The team's drivers were given immunity in return for providing evidence, and there is no penalty in regard to drivers' points. McLaren were also fined $100 million, less the FOM income lost as a result of the points deduction. Race day dawns, but there has been no let-up in the rain and mist over Fuji. Without a doubt, the race must begin behind the safety car. Despite the FIA insisting on extreme wet tyres, the Ferraris started on normal wets, and it shows. Massa retakes Heidfeld and gets a drive-through penalty. Raikkonen is on extreme wet tyres now, but he is still struggling in the conditions and falls back down to last place. He's not the only one with problems. Mark Webber has food poisoning and goes beyond the call of duty.
Going to retirement. Vomiting, coming out, vomiting, I can't drive. Understood. Box. I'll try and stay here, mate. I am eating in the car, but honestly, I'll go.
Vettel is 6th. He can barely see Button and Heidfeld collide ahead. Wirtz is tagged by Sato behind and powerless to avoid Massa's Ferrari. Wirtz is out, but fuel leaks out and catches fire. But it doesn't seem to hinder Sato. He needs to keep his eye on the safety car. And Hamilton moving around the track ahead of him. Hamilton slows again. Third-placed Vettel struggles to see. And when he does, it's far too late.
Can hit me behind the safety car, I'm out. Crashed into Mark. I don't know what happened. I was looking Lewis, he stopped, and then as soon as I looked back to the front, I crashed.
But the race isn't over for Massa and Kubica just yet. Using every bit of track and some. That's got him. But no, he's back for more. Massa just keeps Kubica at bay to finish 6th. While Ralph's terrible day gets worse. Although it doesn't have the same impact as Sutil. Finally, Hamilton is in. But he's lost it. He slides into the gravel. He can't quite get the car out, and he needs help. Fast. The team is powerless. The marshals do what they can to get him into the pit lane. It's agonizing. But now, it's over. He retires for the first time this year. Hamilton tries to put a brave face on a huge setback. And off from Fisichella leaves him right in Yamamoto's path, and it's game over. But no, he's slowing. Impossible. That's 4 places lost already. How can this be happening? It's the worst possible time for a gearbox issue. Somehow the system resets itself and he manages to get going again. But he's way back. The Ferraris have really got the measure of McLaren when it matters most. And despite their lead, Alonso will win the championship unless Kimi can find a way past Massa. But Nakajima's first F1 pit stop is a complete disaster and leaves some of his mechanics in hospital. Kimi will need to win this race. Otherwise, this man gets a 3rd consecutive title. Kimi takes the lead of the race, and more crucially, he's on course for the championship. Finally, in a fantastic climax to a stunning season, Kimi Räikkönen wins at Interlagos and becomes the 2007 Formula One World Champion.
Okay, it's all over. It's all over. Hamilton 7. Hamilton 7. By my calculations, we win the championship by 1 point.
A solitary point determined the championship. Hamilton and Alonso tie, but Lewis scored more second places. BMW Sauber ended the season on a high, and rookie Kovalainen got the better of his more experienced teammate. It was a strong end to the season for Rosberg. Coulthard and Webber weren't where they wanted to be, while Vettel impressed after competing in only 8 races. Sato exceeded expectations. Liuzzi leaves Toro Rosso disappointed. Yamamoto replaced Christian Albers, but he couldn't score any points either. Ferrari win with more than double the points of BMW Sauber. It's disappointing for Renault, while Williams stay ahead of Red Bull. Super Aguri beat Spiker on merit, and McLaren do not score following the FIA ruling in September. The atmosphere in the garage says it all. Kimi made it at last.